Today we're here to make your user experience even better with a new update for PatchApp DX. PatchApp DX version 1.1.6 introduces 3 new features designed to give you more flexibility and control when working with signal paths. These updates are all about making your workflow faster, cleaner, and more intuitive, and we know you're going to love them. So let's dive in. The first feature is the ability to drag and rearrange your signal paths in your active routing grid. This gives you a much easier way to rearrange and organize your signal flows exactly how you want them. I'll demo how this works. So I'll start by first recalling a routing in the active routing grid. Now let's say I wanted to move strings 1 and 2 over to create some additional empty paths for more routings. I could use the arrows at the bottom of the active routing grid to move each path individually, or now I have the option to simply just place my cursor at the bottom of the path that I want to move, and you'll see a new icon appear. This is the new drag, drop, and rearrange feature. I can now move any path by simply just dragging and dropping it to the location I prefer. I can even bump paths to the right when dragging and dropping a path over an already populated path. We also added a customizable behavior where you can go to Settings, User Preferences, the Customize tab, and choose Path Drag Bump/Swap. If you choose Swap, any path you drag over an existing path will now swap them rather than bumping them to the right. So this is purely a preference based on how you intend to use this new feature. Feature number 2 is one we've gotten a lot of requests for, and it's finally here. Recall individual paths in the active routing grid. This means that you can now save single path setups and recall them in an already populated routing. This makes recalls more flexible while working within PatchApp DX. Let's take a look at how to use it. All right, you asked for it, now you got it. Let's say I have this full routing populated and I want to recall a single path only within this already populated routing, but I don't want to affect the existing routing that you see here. I can now simply just right-click at the top of any path that I want and choose a single path routing recall. I created this lead vocal chain earlier. Once I recall it, you'll notice it populates the routing but does not affect the initial mixing chain routing seen here. Of course, I can create a new routing like this and then save it to be recalled at a later date. You'll also notice that if I clear the full routing and recall that stereo bus routing again, none of the single path recalls will appear in the grid. That's because they are technically a different type of recall. So this feature is really powerful because it allows you to essentially recall a single path routing within an already existing full routing without overwriting that existing recall. And finally, feature number 3 is the ability to collapse signal paths in the active routing grid. This helps you keep your workspace cleaner and more manageable, especially when you're working with a larger or more complex session. You can collapse, reopen them all at once, or individually. Let's walk you through it. This one is pretty cool for managing space within your active routing grid without disabling or deleting a routing. Here I have the same synth and string routing from earlier, but let's say I'm happy with my strings 1 and 2 and I don't want them taking up valuable real estate in the grid. Well, I can now easily just right-click at the top of my path and choose Collapse on each one. You'll now see a new icon appear where these paths were collapsed. I can reopen both of them by simply just clicking on the icon to re-expand or reopen them, or if I didn't want to reopen both of them and I only wanted to reopen one of them, I can also right-click on the collapsed icon and choose which path I wanted to reopen. This is such a great space saver in the grid. Oh, and one more thing. If you're in a hurry and you need to collapse multiple paths but don't want to right-click on each one and choose Collapse, simply just hold Shift and click on each path you want to collapse. PatchApp DX 1.1.6 is another step forward in making your routing workflow faster, smarter, and easier to manage. PatchApp DX continues to be the industry leader in digitally controlled analog routing software for the Patch series hardware. This is a free update for all PatchApp DX users, so make sure to update your software. And as always, thank you for choosing Flock Audio.